The God of the Old Testament, who is also the God of the New Testament, required order in worship from Israel. What makes us think that there is any alternative or that we are no longer required to have order in worship? There is nothing in the atoning work of Christ that did away with order in worship. There's nothing in his teaching. There is nothing in either his personal teaching or the teaching of the apostles given through the Holy Spirit that says to us or demonstrates for us that there is no longer to be order in worship. And so the question becomes, where do we get this idea? Well, for some folks, it comes from the act of unhitching the Old Testament from the New, where we say that the Old Testament is no longer relevant, no longer necessary, and is outdated, except for the Psalms that we like, right? The good songs, the good Psalms that are there. We don't want, like the deprecatory Psalm, we don't want to talk about those, right? But we want the good pieces, and the rest of it we can do away with, because that God, the God of the Old Testament, well, that's not really the God of the New Testament. What we have missed is that the New Testament fulfills what the Old Testament predicts. The New Testament helps us to interpret the passages in the Old Testament that speak of the Messiah. The necessity of the Old Testament and the New Testament proclaiming the entire scope of God's plan of redemption. It's so easy to make up our own stuff when we take away half of the teaching of God.